Hey there, Toonami faithful, and welcome back aboard Toonami Absolution, where we talk about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. Once again, we are your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John, and we are back with a little bit more Bebop, even though we finished. Yes, we are tackling Mish-Mash Blues, which is either session 13 or session XX, depending which way you want to look at it. This is a bit of an interesting one, because obviously you probably haven't seen this. This made its TV debut on June 26, 1998, and then was never put on home media, was never dubbed into English, was never released with English subtitles, and was pretty much forgotten about. This is the original ending to Cowboy Bebop, technically, though.
Is it because it aired like the week after? Like what was the sorry. Yeah, I know you mentioned the air date, but yeah.
It aired the week after Speak Like a Child.
Interesting.
So there are some arguments about what the true story is. Different people have different answers. Before we start, I'm going to say something very clearly to people in the back. This was not because Bebop was cancelled for low ratings. That is a myth. It is untrue. Bebop was doing well. However, there was some weirdness to do with its release. Now, Bebop made its debut on TV Tokyo in the 6 p.m. slot, April 3rd, 1998. However, TV Tokyo didn't show all the episodes. They only showed 2, 3, 7 to 15, and then 18. Speak Like a Child. And then this special as the ending. You'll note that means if you watch that TV Tokyo run, you did not get any of the Vicious storyline.
Yeah.
None of it. So then later the year, October 23rd, Satellite Network Wow Wow picked up and showed the whole thing. Now, there are reasons why the Bebop had problems on TV Tokyo. Most notably, school violence was a big worry in Japan at the time.
Sure.
So TV Tokyo, being one of the big anime providers, said, hey, we're going to have stricter internal rules covering violence. So most of Bebop couldn't get through. Now, there is a debate on why Bebop ended up on TV Tokyo. So the original plan, it was this is based on Toshio Kawamoto's book. He was one of the concept artists. He was told that at first the airing slot was scheduled to be Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Wow Wow, which is a satellite channel, so thus didn't have broadcasting regulations. I heard that time slot went to another Sunrise title. That time slot had not been determined for some time while we proceeded with production. So the broadcast of Bebop did not get off to a good start. So basically, because Bebop was having production slowdowns, Wow Wow gave the slot to someone else. So Bebop then took a TV Tokyo slot.
Do we know who they gave the slot to?
I couldn't find out. But Wow Wow was very open. We should note that Wow Wow had shown Devil Lady earlier that year. It showed Berserk the same month as Bebop.
Oh my god.
The best way I can describe it is think of it versus broadcast versus cable in the US. So like how HBO can get away with anything it feels like.
It's not TV. It's
HBO.
I don't know why my brain filled that in with DiGiorno, even though I know that has nothing to do with TV.
The second version of the story is that quite simply they were always going to TV Tokyo first, and that's the only episodes they could get through. This comes from Masako Minami, an interview with Full Frontal Mo about the formation of Bones. He's asked, did the formation of Bones have something to do with TV Tokyo not airing Bebop in full? His response was, I mean, there wasn't much we could do about that, especially at the time. Those kinds of boundaries weren't clearly established. And after talking to TV Tokyo, we decided to stop the broadcast. It was a one-course slot anyway. It was just that they had this open slot, so they asked if we wanted to fill in. And we took the opportunity. Starting with what is now episode 2, you had 2 to 3, then skip 4, 5, 6, then 7 to 15 and 18. But later we were able to reorganize it and air it again. So it wasn't instant. The anime that was supposed to be in air in April wasn't ready in time, so we just filled the slot. But then the one that was starting in July was a children's anime, so under those circumstances, you can understand why we pulled Bebop off the air. So yeah, Bebop was meant to fill, it was basically filling in for something else. They had a children's anime coming in July. TV Tokyo were like, we are sticking to our new rules. And I took it. The other is just that Bebop just couldn't find distributors easily because of the violence. At the Anime Japan Expo 2018, the 20th anniversary roundtable, Minami said no TV station would accept to broadcast the series based on the first episode because of all the drugs, violence, and sex. I tried to convince him that those were not drugs, but rather power-boosting substances like the ones used to increase power and speed in Cyborg 009. So yeah, it depends who you want to believe. Even sort of Minami has gone back and forth on it a few times. But it was never a case of Bebop was cancelled because no one liked it. It was TV Tokyo didn't like the violence, and if they either had a slot somewhere else and lost it, or it was always a case of them doing TV Tokyo a solid to fill in.
Just, it boosts power and speed. You know what else boosts power and speed? Arguably cocaine. But
allegedly.
Allegedly.
Well, other drama, but yeah.
But yeah, like this little special was really interesting, and it felt like a clip show, but it wasn't a clip show. Like,
yes, so for those who haven't seen it, the mishmash in the title is true. It is using all old animation from episodes we've already seen, with the characters talking over it about different things. It's split into 24 sections, each with a title and each with a different narrator. So we sort of go between Spike, Jet, Edward, and Faye, and they're just talking about life and some of the themes of the show. Just basically note, I think it's all summed up really well by Spike's first line. I mean, it's nothing lasts forever. All things must come to an end. It is rather sudden, but this is the last episode. We want to meditate on some things.
Yeah. This was actually the very first time I'd ever seen it too, because like you were saying, no home media release and no English localization. So I was like, oh. When in the opening credits started, it was like new episode of Bebop for the first time in like, oh my God, like 27 years. And then it was like, oh, okay, well, let's cool the jets a bit, but the spirit.
It's interesting too because all the little segments are named after songs. Like they're all references to different artists. Like there are 2 Bob Dylan references in there. Walk This Way is one of them. Like it's a weirdly put together clip show that also understands the core of the show itself.
Well, the true Cowboy Bebop will reveal itself.
Yes, that is very famous at the ending. It is literally just a black screen with white text saying you will see the real Cowboy Bebop someday.
Yeah.
It's interesting though. I wish they talked more about this episode because I'm curious sort of how late this was decided, because there are a couple of quotes in here that really feel like sort of saying F you to the network. Like I do like Spike's "The world is full of sugar candy. If you only watch that, your brain will rot and become like yogurt."
Yeah.
Somebody didn't like Fruits Basket.
I don't want to talk about Fruits Basket.
There's also like Jets, like unfortunately the soul of a freelancer is an antique. And the heart, it's too expensive for money to buy. Yeah, there's definitely some little bits in there that feel like this is deliberate sticking a middle finger up to somebody.
Interesting. So Jet's segments stand out to me, and one of the middle ones stands out to me because he specifically references Gotha, like very specifically. And for the people in the audience who aren't aware, and he also picked very interesting quotes because Gotha had a very specific viewpoint of his own writing. Like he wrote Faust, he's very famous for that, but he specifically hated being known as a poet. Like specifically was very much like my poetry sucks and I prefer to be thought of as a scientist. And I think it's interesting because Jet keeps picking the poetry stuff when Gotha himself would be like, this is trash.
Well, I especially love his whole thing is the greatest respect an author can have for his public is to never produce what is expected, which is again is it's a very Jet thing to say, but it also again feels like a little poke at the network of like, well, why didn't you want this?
Yeah. Yeah. And they also slip in the Bruce Lee reference, which is always cool.
Yeah. And this is the only only place as well we get confirmation of why the Bebop is called the Bebop. Jet fully points out that it is because of Bebop music. We never get that connection in the show.
Yeah. Charlie Parker, right?
Yeah, it's specifically because Charlie Parker didn't use sheet music and that became Bebop.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to sort of hear these little moments, and then I quite like Faye's as well, because Faye's section, she kind of just breaks down her entire personality. Yeah. There's a really fun bit where she's like, I don't like weak men. I don't like men who try and force themselves on other people. I don't like strong men who are too strong. And you can kind of like hear her sort of almost trailing off in like this, oh, I'm talking around myself here. And it really sums up her character so well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this was a treat in the sense that it's this lost relic of Bebop that I'm sure did even Japan didn't get it on home media?
Nope.
Oh, wow.
Apparently it may have been on some. I've heard rumors, but I've never had it confirmed. keep in mind, Bebop was coming out on Laserdisc at this time, so I think the intention was if you liked what you saw, yeah, you'll see the true Bebop one day is go buy the Laserdisc.
Go buy the Laserdisc.
Or a lot of it will come down to who you believe on how if they knew about Wow Wow already or not. Because yeah, you can either read that line as like one day we will broadcast this, or it's sort of an early hint of like, oh, we're coming back later in the year on this satellite network. Keep an eye out. Well, obviously, TV Tokyo won't let us say go watch Wow Wow on air.
Yeah.
I do just very quickly want to point out some of the songs that they picked to name it also kind of feel like a call out, because you have songs like "You Can't Always Get What You Want" is being referenced very firmly. You're getting "Chain of Fools" being referenced, "Do It Yourself," "If Six Was Nine," like "Unfinished Symphony." Like these are very specific.
Public Pressure.
Like "Look Back in Anger" is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's some feelings being expressed in the track list for this.
I've always wondered if it was a case of like sort of like Ebert, where he gave the last Friday the 13th film a good review based on the entire basis it was ending. And I do wonder if that TV Tokyo were like, we don't care. Just as long as you don't break the rules, which none of this does, we want you done. We're done here. So just whatever. Throw out the special so we can say we ended the show, and then just we don't care. I think I found it interesting. This is a rare example of a Bebop episode with a insert song that isn't new.
Yeah.
And a musician who isn't canon. So that again makes me wonder, how late was this put together? Like, because Kano we know works fast, and she had so many leftover songs. You would think if there was time, Kano could have made something.
Yeah. Or they didn't put that much budget into it at all. We're just like
that is also an option.
Just get the voice actors to do a handful of like lines, each of them. Great.
I do also like that as the special goes on, like the characters kind of intrude on each other's segments a little more. Like we start off with them being very siloed, and then you have like Ed talking directly to Ein, and then like Spike and Jet kind of having a little bit in If Six Was Nine and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. I like how the segments slowly get faster as well. It does it does feel like jazz. We're slowly picking up the pace and building till we hit that last ending and that moment of quiet at the end, going across all the different streets with music.
It's very cool. It's a very cool concept. And normally I hate clip shows. Like I have a natural genuine hatred for clip shows. I find them to be super lazy. I really kind of hate when they get inserted into the middle of seasons for no reason. Like I've never enjoyed clip shows. I like this idea of a clip show a lot more, because at least we're taking the clips and doing something with them and being kind of interesting with it.
Yeah, we get very few clips delivered straight. Most of them are really cut up or have voice over them. I love like when Faye is talking about men, we cut to different men she's seen during the show, including strong men, and we get a brief shot of Vicious, which is so quick. I always really like that, because the implication of like she's almost checking herself a little bit mentally of like, it's like he's a strong man, but he's a dick. Yeah, don't like him.
Yeah.
Screw that guy.
They do a lot with this. It's kind of amazing this was like a last minute ending for a show, because it doesn't feel that out of sorts for Bebop. Like I could totally have seen them getting away with this format of an episode, maybe just add a framing device of like Spike, like when Spike got injured and was out cold, you could totally done a Coma Dream episode that has this same layout for him, and it would have worked just as well. Like this still feels very Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop Coma Theory.
Yeah, it's like freeform jazz. Just say how you feel, man.
Say how you feel, man.
All right. We're gonna talk about Bruce Lee and Charlie Parker. Oh yeah.
we went to college. We know what those nights are like when you break out the hookah and the acoustic guitar.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Gotha. Let's talk about the sufferings of young Werther. Let's do it. Yeah.
Sufferings of young Werther is a crazy thing to pull out. Good for you.
I'm smarter than I look.
Look, what a Gotha deep cut.
What I especially love in this is that between sort of Faye, Jet, and Spike showing off their college degrees, we get Edward just
Oh,
coming
Yeah.
in and doing these very rambly, like weirdness bits. I just like his one. I love the one with Ein, where he's like, Ein, why are you so fluffy? Ein, why are you so happy? Ein, why are you so sad? It's because you're a nihilist.
Because you're nihilist.
Again, it's why this feels more than the clip show because like you get like Ed's clips are presented as Ed would look at his life in incomprehensible.
Yeah.
Ed is enjoying talking to the because I've heard those kinds of conversations between kids and dogs. Like that's how children talk to dogs. Why are you so fluffy? Why do you believe that nothing has any meaning?
It's like, have you seen the stuff I've seen recently, man?
Ein with a cigarette in the window looking like Spike.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we never got that.
A smoking Ein, yeah.
Oh, Ein with like a cigarette dangling out of his little mouth that I needed on a t-shirt yesterday.
Oh.
You're thinking about Ein with the cigarette
No,
now.
I'm thinking of Eye in a car. So the book I was talking about earlier, Toshio Kawamoto's book, Cowboy Bebop Illustrations of the Wind. He talks a lot about different art. It's really good. I recommend it.
Yeah.
But there is a picture he's drawn in there of Ein in a car seatbelt, looking very upset. And the note next to it is really funny. It was like he was in a green room with Kano, and Kano asked him to draw a pair of ladies' breasts with a seatbelt. For some reason, he doesn't fully explain why. And he's like, I can't draw very quickly and I can't draw people. So I did it. It looked terrible. So I drew Kano this image as an apology. I presume it must have been before they were playing because it's a seatbelt gag, I guess. But then he's like, Kano ended up using it for something. So I was like, oh. So I just have that image. Because, yeah, I recommend if you can find Cowboy Bebop Illustrations of the Wind. It's very good for all the weird bits of production art you see. Including some really nice early pictures of Spike where they haven't got the colours down yet. So you get to see him in all sorts of weird suits, including one that makes him look like Lupin.
Before Spike got his bar mitzvah. Like,
Oh,
I'm not mad. I mean, I will admit, Spike, the way he moves and like his body shape always reminded me of Lupin the Third, and I kind of assumed that they were making that reference.
I mean, it makes sense if you're talking about sort of an anime that was aimed at an older audience, because Lupin had a big adult audience at the time, because it was. I know today it's kind of toned itself down a little bit, but Lupin used to be controversial.
Yeah, back in the day, Lupin the Third was like
Also,
really pushing the envelope.
Lupin also had an adult audience because Lupin had been around since like the late 70s. Castle of Cagliostro is like over a decade old at this point, maybe like around 20 years old at this point, 15, 20 years old. So, yeah, of course they're going to have adult fans at this point. It's been around for a minute.
I mean, at the time it had adult fans when it was coming out. Like it was aimed definitely at an older audience.
Oh, yeah. Well,
the original run was it was more violent. Lupin's a bit weirder.
Yeah.
I mean, you could make an argument that there are Lupin influences here. Like you could very easily bring a parallel between Faye and Fujiko.
Oh, totally.
Like I think that's very much there.
Yeah. Does that
Jigen and Spike, Jigen and Jet, I think you could make an argument for too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does that mean Ein is Goemon?
Yes, he's very good with a sword.
A very good boy.
We've never seen him use one because they're scared.
Yeah. That would solve too much stuff.
He just walks down the bebop with it in his mouth, then the back of the ship falls off.
Yeah.
I just want to, for a brief moment, just can we in the audience join in as well, have a brief thought experiment with me. Imagine you're a Japanese person in the 90s.
Yeah.
Remember, this came after Speak Like a Child.
Yes.
That was the episode where Faye, we have that heartbreaking ending where Faye learns a tiny bit about her past, and then you get this. I think that would have been the weirdest thing in the world, because like this kind of complements that episode really well.
Yeah.
In that you could put, again, for Faye, you could put this directly after that and have no canon issue, and that she is basically going through a small internal search.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really interesting how this complements where the show was at that point, because keep in mind, no Vicious.
Yeah.
If you're watching that TV Toyko, you have not seen Vicious. You have no idea who a lot of these men are. Like you haven't seen much of Gren either.
Yeah.
Like I think that's really interesting that if you watch that very first broadcast, you got a totally different Bebop. And it's when doing some research for this, I was reading an old anime age, and they had I think their guy in Japan. I think was it Anime Age? May not have been Anime Age, a magazine, and they had like a thing from their guy in Japan who I think would just watch TV and then send them in letters of how things were going. And his review of Bebop was scathing. It was really interesting, and his takeaway was, yeah, it looks really cool, but it's about nothing. It's like nothing makes sense, and the characters keep talking about things that happen we haven't seen. He's like, this would be great if they actually had a storyline. And you realize, oh, because he's watching it on that broadcast. He's getting like all the he complains specifically about the first episode doesn't make any sense because they keep talking about an event that just happened. Yeah, because that's the second episode. And so yeah, you could have been living in this parallel world depending if you had satellite TV or not.
That's so interesting. It's like when you find different historical accounts of the fall of Rome kind of idea.
Yeah, it kind of makes me imagine there is someone like out there who saw the TV Toyko and never considered it again. Who just that to them that was Bebop. It was this short little show, just episodic adventures with bounty hunters.
There's some dude in Hokkaido named Takeshi who's never seen all of Cowboy Bebop because he remembers it as a kid and being like, this show doesn't make any sense. Why would I try it again as an adult?
The weird ending where everyone just talks to me about Gotha.
Yeah. If he became a German lit major in Tokyo University.
Yeah, it's so weird to get. I think that's part of why. So I should just go into it. I spent about 10 years trying to find this episode because I read about it online. Like this was early message boards. I read about it and I was like, I need to see this because it's an extra Bebop episode. Like I just have to find it. And I spent years. So the copy we have is I literally had to buy some Japanese person's tape because they let their VCR run overnight. So it's just a night of TV Tokyo and then just this episode. Like, oh, it's great because of that. But it's amazing to think that they were just like, oh, I left my VCR running and now I can charge a terrible amount of money for this VHS tape.
That's interesting. You gotta imagine being that guy and being like, oh man.
To be fair, I never asked the time. I was desperate to know like how they realized they had that. Because the tape was just up with like 4 hours of stuff. It's like, Like at what point do they realize, oh wait, this was never released?
That's so cool though. Owning that lost media, that had to be amazing.
Yeah, and I said I spent years looking at this because it's so rare and it's so rare in context as well. Like to see a show kind of have this abrupt ending, but have a clip where it just admits outright we're ending. Like when it's not a comedy. Like I know a lot of comedies will just play that, oh, this is the last episode.
Yeah.
But to have sort of a show that was serious doing it is really strange and just basically have the writers break the fourth wall to be like, yeah, we're going to explain all the details now and just have a chat. Like they've turned the chair around the youth pastor. Like we're going to spend a moment to grok.
Yeah.
You want to rap, kids?
Yeah. Here's all our
info. Yeah, and it is basically a reading list for Bebop, which is it's weird because you wouldn't get this today. I don't think a network would allow this. A network would be like, we've got Price is Right reruns. We'll put in your slot, thanks.
Yeah.
You just stopped. You're done. But at the same time, you also wouldn't need this because like Blue Sky and social media is a thing. So nowadays, sort of writers just come out. Even like, interviews are recorded. But at the time, this would be like the only way unless you happen to be tapped into the specialist press and one of the Bebop guys decided to talk to them, you would have no idea what happened. Just Bebop ended.
Like that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing, and the fact that then I can only presume the team aren't fans of it, just because the fact that even at this point someone hasn't been able to talk them into like as a Blu-ray or DVD extra.
Yeah,
like you have an episode produced. Why not?
I mean, that would assume that there's like somebody has an archival copy. Like there is always the possibility that the archival copy is gone.
True, but there must have, again, the fact they haven't ever mentioned it either is what also throws me. Like they've never sort of brought up that, oh, we can't find the archival copy. Like, I would have think by this point they would have said, because if you read old panel things, they're always very chatty people. They're not really the type to, like, when they stop answering questions when you know something quite big has gone on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they did put out the 30th anniversary Blu-ray collection like 10 years ago, or eight, I guess 7 years ago.
And this
Um,
would be a good thing for an anniversary collection.
yeah, we're coming up on, I mean, we're past 35 at this point, unless they're holding out for a 4K remaster.
Yeah, it always surprised me that this just hasn't been, because
Maybe
yeah,
maybe there's a TV Tokyo licensing thing.
oh, maybe that could be part of it. I mean,
Like
it's always
that would
hard.
be my first thought. Like, is
Yeah,
that they made it for TV Tokyo, so maybe they retain the rights to that.
that could explain it. It could also be the music licensing as well, because yeah, this does use external music, but at the same point, you'd think both parties would be like, Cowboy Bebop makes how much money whenever it gets re-released? We'll take 5%, please.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Here's your extra. Yeah, it's so weird. This is the thing, and that this episode spawned the whole thing of the myth in the US that Bebop was cancelled for low ratings when it never was. It's another reason I like this episode is it is a relic of that very specific era in anime history where everything was hearsay in games of telephone.
Yeah.
Like I have been in Bebop fan faces where I've brought this episode up and I've been told that doesn't exist. It's a myth. Like, no, it did exist.
It's
Yeah.
real.
I know it's here on this tape. My
It's like the
precious,
dodo
my
bird.
precious. Yeah, I think it's really because you couldn't like imagine like a One Piece episode just vanishing.
Yeah.
For a
No,
while.
that's
Yeah. Yeah. It was the crossover for us American viewers for a while.
it was the crossover for us for a while, but no,
Yes,
it's interesting.
yeah, it's a fascinating little thing, and it's why I forced you to do this episode because I have to justify my purchasing decisions.
I understand.
Hey, I get you.
Believe
Also,
me, I understand.
I will say the first time I love it. I think I mentioned a few times. I am fascinated with behind the scenes production stuff. So this is for me is such a rare treat to get this behind the scenes that's slightly antagonistic.
Hmm.
It,
I guess in terms of like final thoughts, I mean, I gotta thank you for sharing this with me because I hadn't, like I said, this is the first time I've ever seen it. And if I have any kind of closing thoughts about it, I guess it's just eat Kellogg's and buy Bandai toys.
Yes, this show was sponsored by Kellogg's, by the way. We
And
do
Bandai.
we do get the title cards. Again, seeing that Kellogg's thing is always reminds me because I've always been a bit like, well, why are they so weird about the violence? It's not that bad. You know, it's sponsored by children's cereal. Okay, I can see why TV Tokyo were like, all the shootings, all the shootings.
any other
Can't
final
have.
thoughts?
I'm going to be personal. So there are two quotes from this that I especially love.
Hmm.
The one I saw, one that's kind of stuck with me, and I've always considered getting as a tattoo, is Faye's quote from this, which is being a little dirty makes your room and the world easier to live in. Since I saw it, that's been one of my favorite quotes. It is very true as well. But I also love Jet's thing of the greatest respect north of the capitalist public is to never produce what is expected. And that is a quote that's stuck around with me. If you've ever been to one of the panels I host on TTRPG game design, you'll note that quote is in that production specifically attributed to Jet Black.
I love
Not
that.
Gopher.
As it should be.
Yeah, it's a lovely quote, and I think it really sums up Bebop. Bebop never did what was expected of it, and in this case, it paid the price. But in some ways, it's a fairy story, and I think it's almost this episode's oddly motivating because of that. To look now and be like, this was Bebop at its lowest. It flew too close to the sun and got punished. But I imagine the TV Tokyo, if the thing is true that TV Tokyo were just blocking it wherever they could, I would presume that there's the person in their office now is like the guy who told the Beatles guitar bands are a passing phase, who must sit there and go, I missed the biggest thing. going. And yeah, I think this also is a credit to Adult Swim, because we saw this was the first Adult Swim show. I always wonder if the Adult Swim guys knew about this, that early production. Because one thing that stuck with me, and oh no, I've only mentioned this ever on our TikTok, by the way, is that one of the things you notice about Adult Swim as well, I always love, is that they've always been very strong on Bebop. Everything else gets jokey promos. Whenever they do a Bebop rerun, they are deadly serious of this is the best thing ever. We're rerunning it. Come and watch it. And I think it's cool to see that TV Tokyo didn't get it. I think even Wow Wow may not have fully got it. But there were people there at the time who were like, this is the best thing in the world. And we are going to take it and protect it. So if you have a project and you're like, I don't think anyone's going to get it, or it's been shut down, Bebop is the thing you should look to, because it got dropped, it got a half run, but then came back to be the show up on shows. And the ending that they were told to make to finish it off is now a eBay purchase I make at 4 a.m. because it's not available.
There you go.
I mean, I gotta echo Sam and basically be like, thank you for sharing this, because I only had heard in whispers in anime conventions about its existence, and getting to see it feels oddly like a piece of closure I feel like I was missing from, like, Bebop was always good at tying up its strings, but I feel like there was a piece of closure here, this internal monologue with these characters that was nice and cathartic in a way that I didn't expect it to be. Also, any excuse to talk about Gotha and Faust and the fact that Watanabe definitely had a deal with the devil to make this particular show, and then have to deal with the fact that all of his shows would be judged against it from here on out. That feels like a Faustian agreement to me, if nothing
Carry
else.
that way.
Hey. But
Actually, quite to just divert very quite literally, I did see while researching for this a quote from a panel about getting your friends into anime from like the mid 2000s, where the guy literally says, "Do not show people Bebop as their first anime because they will see it. Then anything else you show them after that will look terrible and they will quit because they've already seen the best thing ever."
yeah, and that's just the truth. And as we come to our end, close to our end, in talking about Bebop, we just want to say thank you so much as we pull into our final destination. That's right, it's time for us to disembark from Toonami Absolution. We want to thank you again for joining us and talking about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. We have been your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John.
And see you later, Space Cowboy. Bang.
You will see the real Cowboy Bebop.
In the previous episodes.
In the previous episode.